guys, this is Kata, and I'm so sorry that I haven't uploaded anything in the past few weeks, but work was kind of crazy. I had to work a few weekends, and I'm also a little bit sick, so if my voice sounds kind of weird, that's the reason why. But anyways, in this video I'm going to be doing my August and September wrap-up, and the reason why I'm doing these 2 months together is because I haven't really been doing a lot of reading in those months, or the whole summer basically. So yeah, that really sucks, and I'm so behind on my Goodreads challenge of reading 100 books in a year. Basically, I'm 11 books behind, which is just embarrassing, especially because in the first half of the year I was always 5 or 6 books ahead. But anyways, I'm not going to stress myself and pressure myself to read more and more and more, because it doesn't matter how many books you read. I just want to read good books. So anyways, let's start with the books I read in August. The first book I read in August was Twilight Volume 2, the graphic novel, and I was so excited to finally read this and just get my hands on this one, because I wanted to see the second half of Twilight in pictures, and I just adore the art in these graphic novels, and I gave this one 4 stars, and because that's just the most I can give to a graphic novel. But yeah, so gorgeous, and definitely a quick read, and just very, very, very beautiful. The next 2 books I read in August were also the last 2 books I read in that month, but I absolutely, absolutely adore them, and they are The Unbecoming of Mardyr and also The Evolution of Mardyr. And I was kind of apprehensive about starting these books, just because the hype around them, I was afraid that I wasn't going to enjoy them as much as everyone else. But I was so wrong, because I love them. I love them to bits. I love the characters, I love the story, I love the whole vibe. I love the romance. I loved Noah so much, and yeah, it's definitely true what other people have been saying, like you cannot really decide what's real and what's not, and I just find that very exciting and just unique, and I cannot wait for the third book. And the reason why it took me so long to finally start reading these books was because I didn't want to wait so long for the third book, and I still have to wait like a month, but you know, that's doable. It's so much better than like 2 years. Yeah, 5 stars read for sure. The first book I managed to finish in September was a book that I started in August, and it took me such a long time to read, and it is The Game Board of the Gods by Rushal Mead. And I have talked about this book in one of my previous videos, but basically this was such a disappointment for me, especially because I adore Rushal Mead and I expected so much more from this book. But yeah, all in all, I just found it a bit boring and way too long, and I just didn't really like the characters. So when I don't like the characters, I just can't really connect with the story either. And yeah, that's why it took me such a long time to read this, and I gave this 3.5 stars. And I don't really feel like reading the sequel to it, because it was just hard enough to get through this one. Yeah, and that's so good because I love Rushal Mead so much. And after that, I read a book that was also a disappointment, because everyone and their mother loves this book, but for me, I don't know, I was just not feeling this book at all, and it is Burn Phone Burn by Jenny Han and Siobhan Vivian. I know, you probably loved it, and good for you, but I just did not really care for it. I didn't really like any of the main characters, and again, when I can't connect with the characters, I can't connect with the story. And even though the 3 storylines were interesting enough and they kept me reading and finishing this book, but I found the characters a little bit immature and childish and just very young, and the writing style wasn't all that great either, for me at least. But yeah, it ended in a way that wants to make me read the second book. I don't think that made any sense, but yeah, I want to read the sequel because it ended in a way that was kind of unexpected. And yeah, but I still gave it 3.5 stars, because I was just not feeling it at all. After that, I read The Iron King by Julie Kagawa, and this took me even longer than Game Board of the Gods, but it's not because that the book was bad or anything. It was just I could not really find the time at the time to read, so I only read 10 pages every so often, and because of that I couldn't really get immersed into the story. But I like the characters, I like the story, even though it wasn't going in a direction that I wanted it and hoped it to go. But still, it was a good book. It was, fast-paced and everything. And I have the other books in this series, so I'm definitely going to continue with it. But I gave this one 3.5 stars as well, but I'm thinking about giving it 4 stars because it was better than the other books that I gave 3.5 stars to. And just because I didn't really give a fair chance to it because I could not read a lot at that time. But yeah, it was a good book. The next book I read in September was Opposition by Jennifer L. Armentrout, which is the 5th and final book in the Lux series. And I gave this one 4.5 stars. It was a good ending, it was satisfying. It wasn't the best as it could have been, I guess, but it was still enjoyable, and I still adore the characters so much and their romance and just the chemistry. And you are never bored by these books, but I still kind of wish that the author kept it as a trilogy because I just like the setting in the first 3 books so much more than the last 2 books. But maybe that's just me, but I don't think, because a lot of people have been saying that the first 3 books were their favorites. But yeah, I enjoyed the ending. It was definitely a quick read for me, and I just love this series so much. And the last book I read in September was an ebook, and it is The Silver Shadows by Rochelle Mead. And this is where I really, really, really adore Rochelle Mead's writing. In the Vampire Academy books, in the Bloodlines books, in the Georgina Kincaid books. And yeah, The Silver Shadows were pretty amazing. I gave it 5 stars. The first half of it was kind of slow, and it definitely got a lot better after the second half. And I still adore these characters and this world so much. I enjoy it. I I don't know, it will always be special for me because the Vampire Academy series was one of the first series that I really fell in love with. And I just love Adrian and Sydney so much, and I cannot wait for the last book, but I'm also sad to see it end as well. But yeah, I definitely do recommend both the Vampire Academy series and the spin-off, which is the Bloodline series. And yeah, the Silver Shadows were amazing. It was action-packed, and there were some things that I did not expect to happen in this one. And yeah, definitely one of my favorite series ever. So yeah guys, those were all the 8 books I managed to read in the past 2 months. And yeah, it's not the best, especially because there were some books that was disappointments, and I always hate it when that happens, because I just have way too high expectations for them, I guess. But anyways, let me know if you have read any of these books, if you have loved them, if you have hated them, if you want to read them, anything. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye bye.